Tech billionaire goes undercover, uncovers shocking truth about his own company. Ethan Ross, a self-made tech billionaire and the visionary founder of Nexus Technologies, stood at the top of the industry. His company was a household name, known for its cutting-edge gadgets and innovative customer services. But lately, he had been receiving troubling reports about declining customer satisfaction, especially at the company's flagship store in Silicon City. The reports didn't make sense. Nexus prided itself on its world-class products and top-tier customer experience. Ethan, always hands-on with his empire, decided he needed to get to the root of the problem, personally. Disguising himself as an everyday customer, Ethan swapped his tailored suits for a simple hoodie and jeans, leaving behind the polished world of boardrooms and billion-dollar deals. With his face obscured by a baseball cap and glasses, he walked into the flagship store, blending in with the regular clientele. The store was buzzing with activity, but Ethan immediately noticed a problem. The once welcoming atmosphere felt cold and mechanical. Employees seemed disengaged, some even scrolling through their phones while customers wandered aimlessly, searching for help. Ethan approached the front desk, where a young employee named Marcus sat behind a screen. "Excuse me," Ethan began, his tone polite. Without looking up, Marcus waved a hand dismissively. "Hold on a second," he mumbled, clearly more interested in his phone than the customer in front of him. Ethan waited patiently, observing the employee's lack of urgency. Finally, Marcus sighed and glanced up. "What do you need?" he asked, his tone dripping with indifference. "I'm interested in learning more about the new Nexus Smart Home Hub," Ethan said, testing the waters. Marcus barely suppressed an eye roll. "You can read the brochure over there," he said, pointing vaguely toward a stand. Ethan thanked him and walked away, pretending to browse the shelves. He noticed similar behavior from other employees, some chatting among themselves, others avoiding eye contact with customers altogether. There was no sense of pride or passion in their work. Near the back of the store, Ethan spotted a young woman named Sophia helping an elderly customer set up a Nexus device. Unlike her co-workers, she was patient and attentive, walking the customer through every step with a warm smile. It was a stark contrast to the rest of the staff. Intrigued, Ethan decided to test another employee. He approached a salesperson named Greg, who was busy cracking jokes with a colleague. "Excuse me," Ethan said. "I'm having trouble deciding between these two tablets. Can you help?" Greg barely glanced at him. "They're basically the same. Just pick the cheaper one if you're on a budget," he said, laughing as if he'd made a clever remark. Ethan's jaw tightened. This wasn't just a minor issue. It was systemic. The lack of training, accountability, and professionalism was tarnishing the company he had built with so much care. Ethan left the store that day, determined to take action. He had seen enough. What the staff didn't realize was that the unassuming customer they had dismissed so easily was about to change everything. After his undercover visit, Ethan Ross sat in his private office, reviewing everything he had observed at the flagship store. The indifference, lack of professionalism, and absence of a customer-first attitude weren't what Nexus Technologies stood for. The company was built on innovation and exceptional service, yet his employees were failing to deliver on this core promise. Ethan knew he couldn't ignore the issue. He called for a discreet meeting with his trusted inner circle, including the head of customer experience, HR executives, and regional managers overseeing the flagship location. Ethan didn't disclose his undercover mission yet, opting to frame the meeting as a discussion on customer satisfaction reports. "Has anyone noticed a decline in the quality of customer service at our stores, particularly the flagship location?" Ethan asked, scanning the room. The head of customer experience, Claire, nodded hesitantly. "We've received some complaints recently, but nothing alarming. Most of the feedback highlights delays in assistance and a lack of engagement from staff. I assumed it was just an isolated issue." Ethan's expression hardened. "It's not isolated. I visited the store yesterday, and what I saw was unacceptable. Employees were dismissive, disengaged, and unprofessional. If I were an average customer, I would have walked out empty-handed." The room fell silent. Claire exchanged a nervous glance with the HR director, Thomas. If that's the case, we may have deeper issues, Thomas admitted. Employee morale and training could be contributing factors. When staff aren't motivated or properly trained, it reflects in their behavior. Ethan nodded. Exactly. This isn't just a customer service issue, it's cultural. Somewhere along the line, we lost the connection between our values and the people representing us on the front lines. Determined to get to the root of the problem, Ethan decided to analyze the hiring and training processes at Nexus. He discovered several red flags. 1. Lack of comprehensive training. New hires were given minimal onboarding, focusing only on product knowledge rather than customer interaction skills. 2. No accountability measures. Employees weren't being monitored or held accountable for their performance on the sales floor. 3. Inconsistent leadership. Store managers weren't actively involved in day-to-day operations, creating a disconnect between leadership and staff. 4. Low employee morale. Exit interviews revealed that many employees felt undervalued and unsupported, leading to disengagement. Ethan also reached out to a few former employees to gain insight. One former salesperson, who had quit just a month earlier, shared a revealing perspective. When I started, I was passionate about the brand, but there was no recognition for hard work. Management cared more about sales numbers than the customer experience. Eventually, I stopped trying because it didn't seem to matter. Ethan realized that fixing these systemic issues required more than a few tweaks. It would demand a complete overhaul of the company's approach to employee engagement and customer service. But the question remained: how could he implement meaningful change while ensuring that the flagship store's poor performance didn't tarnish Nexus's reputation? Ethan knew the answer lay in leading by example, and he had a plan to make it happen. What he would do next would send shockwaves through his company and the industry. Ethan Ross knew that words alone wouldn't fix Nexus Technologies. To rebuild trust and instill the company's core values, he needed to act decisively. His first step was to revisit the flagship store under his true identity, not as an undercover customer, but as the CEO determined to bring change. Ethan scheduled a surprise visit to the store, this time accompanied by a camera crew and senior members of his leadership team. His goal was not to expose or shame employees, but to inspire and motivate them to rise to their potential. When Ethan walked into the store, the same indifferent employee who had dismissed him during his undercover visit greeted him. This time, however, the employee's eyes widened in shock upon realizing who he was. Word spread quickly, and the entire staff gathered nervously near the customer service desk. Ethan addressed them with a mix of empathy and firmness. "I came here as a regular customer a few days ago," he began. "What I experienced didn't reflect the values Nexus stands for. But instead of pointing fingers, I want to work with all of you to make this store the standard of excellence in customer service." The employees looked at one another, uncertain of what to expect. Ethan continued, "We're going to implement changes that will make your jobs more fulfilling and ensure our customers feel valued. But that requires commitment from everyone here." Ethan announced several immediate initiatives to transform the store and the company's culture. 1. Enhanced training programs. A comprehensive onboarding process would now include customer interaction workshops, conflict resolution training, and leadership development opportunities. 2. Recognition and incentives. Employees who demonstrated outstanding service would receive public recognition, bonuses, and opportunities for career advancement. 3. Open communication channels. Ethan introduced an anonymous feedback system for employees to voice concerns, ensuring that management remained connected to their experiences. 4. Active management. Store managers would now spend more time on the sales floor, mentoring employees and ensuring high standards of service. To emphasize his commitment, Ethan spent an entire day shadowing employees, interacting with customers, and personally addressing their concerns. When a frustrated customer came in with a faulty product, Ethan guided the staff on how to handle the situation with empathy and professionalism. The turning point came when Ethan gathered the staff for a candid discussion. He shared his own journey, from starting Nexus in a garage to building it into a global brand. "I know what it's like to work hard and feel unseen," he admitted. "But I also know that when we come together, we can create something extraordinary." One employee, a young woman named Maria, hesitated before speaking up. "Mr. Ross, I've worked here for 2 years, and I've felt overlooked most of the time. It's hard to stay motivated when you don't feel valued." Ethan nodded. "Maria, thank you for your honesty. Starting today, I promise that you and every employee will have a voice in this company. You're the backbone of Nexus, and it's time we treated you that way." As the day progressed, a noticeable shift occurred among the staff. Employees who had previously been disengaged began to show genuine enthusiasm. Ethan's willingness to listen and lead by example inspired them to take pride in their roles. The changes didn't stop at the flagship store. Ethan announced that these initiatives would be rolled out company-wide. He sent a personal email to all Nexus employees, sharing his experience and reaffirming his commitment to creating a culture of excellence and respect. What Ethan didn't expect, however, was how his actions would ripple beyond the company. News of the CEO working undercover and personally addressing customer service issues went viral, earning widespread praise from customers and industry leaders alike. But the most important transformation was happening within Nexus itself, and Ethan wasn't done yet. Ethan Ross's undercover mission and subsequent actions sparked a profound transformation, not just for Nexus Technologies, but for everyone involved. The once dysfunctional flagship store became a shining example of what a motivated and well-supported team could achieve. Customers who had previously felt neglected began to notice the difference. Positive reviews flooded in, praising the friendly and attentive staff. Sales at the store surged, surpassing projections for the quarter. Employees, who had once felt like mere cogs in the machine, now took pride in their roles, knowing their voices mattered. The story of Ethan's undercover operation spread far and wide, attracting attention from media outlets and business forums. Headlines lauded him as a hands-on leader and the CEO redefining company culture. But for Ethan, the real victory was seeing his employees flourish and his customers satisfied. At a company-wide town hall meeting, Ethan addressed his staff with genuine pride. "This journey has reminded me of why I started Nexus Technologies in the first place," he said. "It wasn't just about creating innovative products. It was about building a company where people, employees, and customers alike feel valued. Together, we've achieved something remarkable, and this is just the beginning." To further solidify the changes, Ethan launched a customer-first initiative, which included quarterly training sessions, mentorship programs, and anonymous surveys to ensure continuous feedback. He also created a recognition program called the Nexus Star, where employees across the company could be nominated by peers or customers for outstanding service. 1 year later, Nexus Technologies received an award for excellence in customer experience, a testament to the hard work and dedication of its employees. Maria, the young woman who had spoken up during Ethan's visit, was promoted to a managerial position, and she became a champion for employee engagement within the company. Ethan's story continued to inspire others in the business world. CEOs began reevaluating their leadership styles, and companies started prioritizing employee satisfaction and customer experience. Ethan himself was invited to speak at conferences, where he shared the lessons he had learned from his undercover mission. But perhaps the most significant impact was the personal growth Ethan experienced. He no longer viewed Nexus Technologies as just a company. It was a community, a family built on trust, respect, and shared purpose. As Ethan walked through the flagship store a year later, he was greeted warmly by employees and customers alike. The transformation was evident in every interaction, every smile, and every word of gratitude. Standing in the bustling store, Ethan realized that his journey had come full circle. By stepping into the shoes of his customers and employees, he had not only revitalized his company, but had also rediscovered the heart of what it meant to be a true leader.